Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
We don't need gimmicks like giant checks and mascots to promote this year's football contest because we're giving away even more money than we did last year.
$16 million in guaranteed prizes to be exact. There's 2 ways to win and no rake.
Players in Circa Millions make 5 picks against the spread each week with quarterly and full season payouts.
Circa Survivor entries select one team each week with no point spread. Last the longest to win it all. Visit circasports.com for details.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing? New intro for a big day with some Boise State news going on. If we only had stuff to talk about today, Mike Prater, it is Monday and it's a new week and we've got plenty. We've already got record viewership waiting to chat with Mike Prater here on Bronco Nation News Live. We are coming from the Western Collective Studios, as we said, and yes, plenty to get to. The quarterbacks, how the decision went down. I mean, I don't know if we got enough time here. I just was getting off the phone right before we started, Mike Prater, so apologize for being a minute late, but a lot going on, a lot of buzz, and I'm really happy. I love Johnny, I love Tuss, but I'm really happy Mike Prater is the one here on a Monday to help us break it down.
Let's get after it, BJ. A big story and a lot of stuff to talk about. You're right. I had to dodge 3 red lights just to get here and some street chip sealing, so I know we're all scrambling, and it's been a big day. It's been a big 24 hours for Boise State in terms of the quarterback. It's the decision we've all been waiting for, and let's spend the next 45 minutes breaking this sucker down, buddy.
Mike Prater does have a column that he just posted around 8 o'clock this morning to BroncoNationNews.com. If you are one of our near 1,000 paying subscribers, we appreciate you. And your gift, one of the many gifts is being a paid subscribers. You can jump on there and read Mike Prater's thoughts on this decision. And that's why I love Mike Prater and love that we have you involved, man. You're not afraid to give it like you see it, and it's sometimes positive, sometimes it's negative, sometimes it's in the middle, but you give it a fair perspective and hit both sides of it. And I think that anybody wanting a nice comprehensive look at this decision and what went into it should go check out BroncoNationNews.com. And again, just $50 if you want to subscribe and join us and be able to read Mike Prater's column. But Mike, we'll dive into the column, but just in general, I don't know where you want to start. If it's just starting at noon with the timeline of the day, or starting with the decision itself. I mean, it was just a Saturday. They had the second scrimmage. Spencer Danielson tells us, hey, and with pretty much the hay is in the barn now, all the coaches are gonna get together. We're gonna talk, and in the next couple days, we're gonna make this decision, as they did pretty much for the entire depth chart. I know you asked about Spencer. He did at the end of the press conference. He didn't get too much into it. But they kind of set their depth chart with school starting today and have the scout team and really kind of get into it. So we'll find out probably Monday, I guess, game week when we get the official depth chart. But those are all pretty much done. There's a right tackle. There's all these positions have been decided. The big one, obviously, is quarterback. And they, which I don't think we're surprised, Mike Prater, that it was a quick decision. Like we saw what was going on in fall camp. Anyone locally that's surprised that this is the way they went, I don't think was paying attention. But they, after the scrimmage, crossed their T's, dotted their I's, made the decision yesterday morning, I guess, or told everybody. And then we found out yesterday afternoon about 4:45, Maddux Madsen will start the season as the starting quarterback.
Crazy, absolutely crazy 24 hours for Boise State, but, certainly not surprising or not expected. You were on Idaho Sports Talk on Friday. I think we talked about this exact scenario. I did my Idaho Sports Talk soapbox talking about one more sleep, maybe two, depending on how much Spencer Danielson wanted to sleep on it. But after the scrimmage on Saturday, going to bed Saturday night, Dirk Cutter and Spencer Danielson knew exactly who their starting quarterback was going to be. Spencer slept on it, woke up on Sunday morning, and they decided to make the decision. It got to be a little awkward yesterday, and there was some behind-the-scenes stuff that got a little squirrely. Boise State's worried about this decision. Boise State's nervous about this decision. Not so much the decision itself, and we will dive into the column, but it just the ramifications and the consequences, because college football this day and age is a little bit weird. So they came off yesterday as a very nervous organization, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I think, what fans think. I think that they made the right decision with starting quarterback, and anybody that's been paying attention for the last couple of months should not be surprised. Shame on the national media for sucking on the hyperbole and jumping on the bandwagon. But here in Boise, we kind of figured out that Malachi Nelson was not going to be the starting quarterback, that Madsen was going to win this challenge, and here we go. But as also I said in the column, this story is far from over, BJ.
No, and there's a lot of aspects of the column that I want to dive into, and that's why I said I'm so pumped that you're here today to talk about this. But I mean, we're already seeing the social media comments, the hate from fans towards these guys. People are saying, "Oh, is Malachi Nelson the biggest bust of all time?" We're seeing all kinds of comments. We're seeing Malachi Nelson from my understanding. I mean, Spencer said, "Hey, we had a great chat with Malachi and his dad. He's on board. He's waiting for his time. He knows he's supposed to be here. It's going to come." Well, then we find out later in the day he's scrubbed a lot of his social media posts, at least on Instagram. From what I saw, I guess a lot of USC and other fans were going on there and ripping on Malachi and criticizing him for not winning the job. And maybe he just deleted all that to not have to mess with it. I don't think that, at least now, is indicating some sort of transfer is on the horizon. I mean, all we can go off of is what we heard from Spencer Danielson, and he said, "Hey, we had a great talk. He's fired up. We're going to need him at some point here." And I do think we both will get into this, Mike. Believe Malachi Nelson will start a game at some point this season for Boise State football. I really believe somehow that will happen. But just the whole public fan comments and the buzz, and now I'm seeing people saying, "Oh man, I wonder if they waited till after the top 25 came out to make this announcement because they know a lot of the national buzz would have gone away." There's just so much stuff to unpack here. I said a lot. I'm rambling. I don't know where you want to take it, but the whole other side of this, Mike Prater, with the social media reaction and the fans and all that kind of stuff, and people kind of, it was fun for a couple months, back to 7-5 this year and stuff like that. I mean, it is just we probably should have seen this coming whenever the decision was made, but it's been crazy on social media.
I love it, BJ. We've riled up the people, and not only we, but the decision has riled up the people, and that's what's so great about sports, and that's one of the cool things about a disgusting place like Twitter or social media is so much reaction in terms of what happened, and this is the kind of story that should have reaction. There's no outside of Spencer Danielson making the right decision at quarterback. And let's debate that. Let's spend a lot of time debating that. And I know you're coming on Idaho Sports Talk again later today, a special edition appearance of BJ on Idaho Sports Talk later on this afternoon. And we're going to talk just about the football side of this, the decision part of it. We won't get into the nastiness, but they made that right decision. After that, I think the debate is wide open. I have no idea what Malachi Nelson's going to do, even though Spencer Danielson said yesterday, we're all fine and good. I wouldn't be shocked at all if we saw a press release today. Or I wouldn't be shocked at all if we didn't see a press release at all. And Malachi Nelson was here for 3 years doing what he came here to do, get better as a quarterback. He didn't come here to win a job on August 31st. He came here to become a better quarterback over the next couple of years, 2, maybe 3 at the most, according to his father, who definitely has a timeline for his family, and go off and be an NFL quarterback. So I don't really think that this is that big a blow for Malachi Nelson now. I mean, it sucks to lose the job for him, but Boise State made the right decision, and I don't think Malachi Nelson was surprised. He knows the writing on the wall. We all saw the practice reps. And one thing I wanted to clear up really clear here. Everybody's saying that, well, not everybody, a lot of people, a lot of the Malachi fans are saying he didn't get a fair shot in fall camp. Well, he got a good chunk of the number one reps in spring camp. Yeah, he was trying to learn the offense. Yeah, he was trying to build relationships with teammates he didn't even know. But Maddux Madsen had 1.5 legs and was not available for team reps. Malachi had plenty of opportunities in the spring, and Malachi is the guy that was in control of the reps in fall camp as well. Dirk Cutter had to make the decision, but he was making decisions based on play. And Malachi Nelson didn't do enough to close the gap between number 2 and number 1. And the coaches yesterday made a right decision to win a football game on August 31st.
Linda M says, I can't believe I'm agreeing with Prater. A lot of people are agreeing with you today, Mike. And yeah, that is one thing. But yes, I guess that's a good way to prove it. But in the spring, you obviously had a lot of guys out, so Malachi Nelson was running the quote number 1 offense, but it was a very, thinned back version of the number 1 offense. Fair. And that was part of it. But again, and we're stuck to kind of what we can report, what we haven't, but it's gotten out there elsewhere that during team periods of practice, it was almost exclusively Maddux Madsen running the team period. So he started as the number 1 quarterback, and he really did nothing to lose that. And so a lot of people saying it wasn't a fair chance, like you said. You do need to factor in the spring, but in terms of what Malachi could have done once fall camp started, maybe he didn't do good enough with the 2s that they thought he warranted reps with the 1. I don't know, but it was pretty one-sided in terms of the reps, which is why I think for at least the last week or so, Jay and you and Johnny and I have all been kind of hinting that this is probably what was going to happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, yeah, the news yesterday did not shock anybody as far as I'm concerned, at least anybody who's been paying attention. And I can't wait to see how it plays out. I agree with you. I agree with you with what you said earlier in terms of, you said Malachi Nelson's probably going to start a game this year. I hope not. I hope he plays a lot, but I'm not even sure I hope that because I'm so dang tired of quarterback palooza around here. Wouldn't it be cool if you had a quarterback that started 14 games, came out for mop-up duty in the fourth quarter, and Boise State marched on to accomplish great things as a team? That would be fun. It would suck for Malachi Nelson to sit on the bench and watch that kind of a parade, but that's really what Boise State wants here. And they thought that Malachi Nelson, because of the hype, the transfer, the recruiting, the pedigree, USC, all that kind of stuff, he got this 5-star transfer, or he got this 5-star recruiting tag more than 3 years ago from high school recruiting dudes that were basing it on California high school football. And it's just, I don't know, it just drives me crazy that all of a sudden Dirk Cutter's the idiot, Mike Prater's the idiot, BJ Raines is the idiot, Spencer Danielson is the young football coach who has no idea what he's doing. I trust these guys, and at the end of the day, I can't wait to see how it plays out.
260 of you watching right now on YouTube alone, so I figured we'd have good viewership today. We certainly do. If you can do us a favor, hit that subscribe button in the corner of the YouTube channel here. Hit that like button, more importantly. Help us show up in some of the algorithms and things. If you found our channel for the first time here, we appreciate you. We talk Boise State sports pretty much every weekday morning, 9 a.m., and then we do pre- and post-game shows. And then, obviously, with our partnership, we hope you listen 3 to 6 to KTIK and what Mike and Johnny and everybody there and Prater, the whole crew, they do a tremendous job, Bob and JP. So that's 3 to 6 today. We're on 9 a.m. every morning. But, again, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you can as we continue to build this channel up. And, I'm not surprised, Mike Prater, that we're having record viewership here today. We've got 254 watching on Twitter, 266 on we're over 650 people right now that are watching this and wanting to know what we got to say. We need to take a break, but I do want to say this, Mike Prater. Like I was telling my wife about this morning. Like I don't think Maddux Madsen gets enough credit either. Like this dude beat out Talon Green last. Like he was you can say what you want, and I was on the I guess what people said the Talon Green. Like I do believe Talon Green got the way they handled that last year. I didn't think that was right. But with that said, like by the time it was done, the New Mexico game, Maddux Madsen was the starting quarterback. He had passed Talon Green as the starting quarterback on this team. Now Talon Green goes and is the starting quarterback at Arkansas. Coming in this year, a lot of people didn't give him a chance again. They just assume it's going to be Malachi Nelson. Like at some point, and again, I know the stats last year were what they were. He didn't play perfect, but two different coaching staffs essentially felt Maddux Madsen now is the better option as a starting quarterback. at some point, at least going into the season, you got to trust that these coaches know what they're doing. And maybe Maddux Madsen's a little better than some people are giving credit for.
Yeah, and that's funny you say that, boss, because I'm kind of working on a column, the next BNN column. I'm thinking along those same lines. Maddux Madsen was a rock star athlete in high school, a state championship, rock star captain, leader. Mom passing out orange slices, rock star in high school, where he excelled everywhere he did. Oh wait, he comes to Boise State as a true freshman. And just as you said, eventually beats out a quarterback who's now starting in the SEC. That tells me something. And he played okay, 62%. I think he threw, 9 touchdowns to 3 interceptions, if I remember his stats right. Probably would have finished the year as the starting quarterback and done nice things if he hadn't got hurt on that injury. Some intangibles like picking up key first downs, lowering your shoulder and running and helping to win football games. He's got all the championship pedigree. He's got all the intangibles. And now, here he comes. The little 5'10" kid from Utah with blonde curly hair all of a sudden is beating out the 5-star USC transfer as well. I don't think I don't think Maddux Madsen gets anywhere near enough credit for who he is or what he does. He could be here for the next 3 years. He's not going to the NFL. What if this guy turns into like little mini Kellen Moore JV light? I'm not going to sit here and say anything, but he's got a career that's building that's very promising if he can stay healthy.
All right, a lot still to get to with this decision, but I want to get into in the next segment, Mike, kind of how this decision came down and getting broken by the national outlet and kind of some of the other stuff. And you mentioned the nervousness of the decision. Let's get into the column and that portion of it. The nervousness, why Boise State is nervous with this decision, and that played out really, in terms of how they went about making this announcement yesterday afternoon. A little inside baseball. We'll tell you guys what happened yesterday. Get into that back in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere here on Bronco Nation News. All Bronco Nation News broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers. That includes the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer in the country to support an NIL collective. A portion of the proceeds from each sale of the Horseshoe Golden Ale go directly to Boise State student athletes via the Horseshoe Collective. Western Collective's beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, are available at most major retailers in Idaho. Western Collective, the studio sponsor at Bronco Nation News. Our title sponsor at Bronco Nation News is rowpaint.com. For over 23 years, Row Painting has built a name synonymous with excellence in the painting and coatings industry. We serve a diverse portfolio of clients, including residential homeowners and homeowners associations, commercial businesses, general contractors, and industrial site purchasers. All of their clients receive the peace of mind that comes with expert project management, safe, skilled, and experienced painters, and professional-grade equipment. They provide a stress-free experience while solving your painting needs. They've completed more than 11,500 projects, including the back patio and garage in the Rains house, and they can do your project next. Our title sponsor, again, check them out online, roepaint.com. Give them a call, 208-991-0567. The official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics and the title sponsor of Bronco Nation News, roepaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union has been helping members achieve financial success for more than 80 years. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket with free eBranch mobile and online banking. Don't have time to run to the branch to deposit your check? No problem. With Idaho Central Credit Union's mobile deposit feature in the mobile banking app, you can deposit your check anytime, anywhere. See why over 500,000 members love Idaho Central Credit Union. Again, that's 1 in 4 Idahoans. Make the switch today at iccu.com. Lithia Ford of Boise supports Boise State Athletics as the official car and truck of the Broncos and through NIL deals with Jonah Dalmas, Andrew Simpson, Ahmed Hassanin, and Matt Lauder. 4 Boise State football players rocking vehicles from Lithia Ford, as well as Paige Barsh from the volleyball team and Brooke Patterson from the women's golf team. The fall kickoff sale is going on today at Lithia Ford of Boise. Check them out online. View their full inventory of vehicles at lithiafordboise.com. For your next car or truck purchase, think Lithia Ford. Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho. All right, back here on Bronco Nation News. The comments continue to roll in. We really appreciate that, guys. Again, much more coming today, 3 o'clock, Idaho Sports Talk. They'll have 3 hours of coverage primarily focused on this. And it's Boise, Idaho, Mike Prater. It's 2 weeks before Boise State football season starts. When they announce a starting quarterback, that's obviously going to dominate the airwaves and the show waves and everything else. And we're here talking about it on Bronco Nation News, and you guys will again at 3 o'clock today. Okay, so let's see. A lot of questions, comments coming in, one of which, ironically, does say, why aren't you going to talk to the players, the quarterback's dads about all of this? And that kind of plays into yesterday's announcement, which I didn't have a huge problem with this part of it, but the media relations staff did ask the media to maybe for at least 24 hours hold off on rushing to ask Malachi Nelson's dad what he thinks about this and that kind of stuff. I'm sure those will happen in the next few days, but the column is up at BroncoNationNews.com. Boise State made the right decision at QB, but it's a nervous decision. Mike, let's get into the column here a little bit, and I guess first I want to focus on the nervousness part of the decision here, and just kind of the general theme of your column, and why you say that and use that as the headline choice.
So much at stake here with Malachi Nelson, and Boise State is nervous because of the consequences of what could happen with this decision. Could he end everything from local fan reaction that doesn't matter and some that does, all the way up to will Malachi Nelson enter the transfer portal? They were so careful yesterday, and I'm glad you reminded me about that. I forgot about the rule. Don't call the parents for 24 hours. We're allowed to call parents anytime we want. We reach out to Boise State. They give us the green light to talk to parents. So yesterday, they said, give us the 24-hour rule. I kind of understand that, but I really don't. Again, they're trying to control the narrative, and that's part of the reason why they're nervous here. They want to make sure that Spencer Danielson is sending a message that we have two really good quarterbacks. Spencer mentioned that. He goes, I don't want this story spun wrongly in the media. I want the media to know that we have two really good quarterbacks. That's the message he's trying to send to Malachi. He's talked to Dad. He's talked to Malachi. Now he's talking to both of them through the media and making sure he reinforces that message. Everything's at stake here in terms of 6 sellouts, 6 games, 20,000 season tickets, CFP championship runs, more fan angst because of more quarterback angst after 5 seasons of juggling 10 different quarterbacks who have thrown a pass for Boise State. There's so many things to see how this works out. I would be very, very nervous. And I can see Boise State handled it yesterday like they were nervous, and then it got a little weird. It got a little complicated with the media relations department. They did some things that I didn't particularly like, and I point out some of those details in the column.
Yeah, and so we found out about noon, 12:30, I guess, there was going to be a embargoed conversation with Spencer Daniel later in the afternoon, or Danielson. We were not able to touch on that, so we knew all afternoon there was going to be this call with Spencer Danielson where we all believed and expected to find out who the starting quarterback was going to be. I went ahead and wrote a full 500-word story at like 1 p.m. that it was going to be Maddux Madsen, just taking a guess if that's what it was going to be, had it ready to go for when we got the okay to report it. And then where it kind of bugged me a little bit, and somebody brought this up, who leaked it to Pete Thamel instead of BNN having a day breaking the massive news, messed up. I don't care if it was me. I don't care if it was Prater. I don't care if it was Jay Tust. I don't love the national media on a story like that, and we've been following it around since day one, have that story, and it was just very odd, Mike Prater, that literally at 4:47, the exact time that Spencer Danielson starts talking on this embargoed Zoom call, Pete Thamel puts out the tweet breaking the news who the starting quarterback is. And meanwhile, we're all sitting there on this call and we're under this embargo that we can't say anything. And then spent the ESPN's getting 30 free minutes where we look like we don't know what we're doing. And we're waiting till we get the okay to put it out there. The whole thing was just kind of odd.
It was more than kind of odd. It really kind of pissed me off, BJ. It really did. And I know I get rattled a little bit too easily and I got to back off, but in this particular case yesterday, you're 1,000% right. To invite us to a live press conference with the head football coach, and it lasts for 30 minutes. And during this live press conference, we're not allowed to say anything. We're not allowed to record it. We're not allowed to tape it. We're not allowed to release it. None of this kind of stuff. It was a live press conference with a Boise State football coach. And it really, really just kind of upset me. And then at the very end, they said, oh, you can put it out now. And it had been out there for a half hour from ESPN. Somebody at Boise State leaked this information. I think I know who it is. To Pete Thamel at ESPN. And this has been going on for a long time. Again, Boise State promoting its quarterback situation, trying to control the narrative, doing everything that it can, trying to protect the message that Malachi Nelson's still very much an important part of our family. I get some of the reasons why they're doing it. It's smart to rally the troops. It's smart to go into critical thinking mode and figure out all the different elements that we have to make sure that we make this right decision and the consequences don't bite us in the ass. And I think that they did that. It's just the media relations department got a little squirrely with embargoed conversation. The conversation itself is embargoed. Please do not make it known that this is even taking place. and then starting a live press conference. And oh, by the way, Spencer Danielson's going to give you a whole bunch of stuff over the next half hour during this live press conference, but you're not allowed to say anything until we tell you. Meanwhile, ESPN's out there doing its thing. Really, really squirrely, and I didn't like it, BJ.
And I guess the big point is, in from my perspective, not necessarily to complain about them, but just to make it known publicly, is like, yeah, we were not beat by 30 minutes on this story. We knew the exact same time, if not before, Pete Thamel had it out there. We were just on this local press conference call where, for whatever reason, I don't know if they expected it to come out by Pete Thamel or were waiting until it was all okay, but we were not scooped by 30 minutes and where's the local media? Why are they not doing their job? And they're all asleep at the wheel. No, we were actually interviewing Spencer Danielson about this when it broke. We just couldn't say anything about it. And so it just that part was frustrating that I saw some criticism of the media that we're bad at doing our job when we were playing by the rules. And I had another point I was going to make about that, but I know you wanted to jump in there.
Well, the one thing that it was just such a tiny detail too, but this one really kind of this is when I thought, really, guys, are you really doing this? When we got on the live interview with Spencer Danielson, and we've interviewed him all the time, and he gives us access, and this has nothing to do with access, and we just ask him questions. It's man to man, woman to woman, whatever it is. It's human beings asking questions to the football coach, and we were informed yesterday that we were not allowed to ask questions during a live interview, that we had to type the questions into a Zoom chat of which they were going to be controlled and monitored and read to Spencer Danielson, and then he was going to give the answer. Now, a small technical glitch didn't allow that to happen. They quickly reversed that decision, but they were told reporters are not allowed to ask questions. You have to submit them in writing. Are you serious? And then we couldn't record the call, and so you can't have any video. You know, Jay Tust is on the call, and we're on the call, but we cannot show any video of this press conference. They were not allowed any video or audio. So we had this entire interview, which we could take the quotes and we could use it in stories and things and report what he said. But like, you guys are not able to put that audio on your show today. Jay Tust last night on KTVB was not allowed to put the video on. It was just, again, I don't like to come on here and criticize other people and doing their jobs. And we obviously need to have a good relationship with the sports information department. So I'm sure they had a reason behind it. I don't think Spencer Danielson knew any of this was probably going on behind the scenes, because maybe he did, but he came on and he asked you like, oh, you're muted, Mike. And then you're kind of like, well, I'm not supposed to ask a question here. Like, so, I mean, the whole thing just was kind of, I want to believe that this wasn't really orchestrated by Spencer, that he had a big idea. I don't know the reasons behind some of this. And again, I always feel bad coming on here and criticizing people, and we're not calling people out by name, but just in general, it was a very odd way to handle it. And you kind of in the column say that comes back to just all the other factors at play here. Yeah, and being nervous and just handling some of it okay and some of it not okay. And I mean, it was funny. Spencer Danielson gave us an answer at one point during this press conference that we weren't allowed to do anything with. He goes, guys, this is a big story. Heck, as far as I know, it might be on the front page of ESPN. Well, it was at that point, and we didn't know it. He probably knew it. He understands about the tweeting ramifications. He understands about the social media ramifications. He understands about the big national media ramifications. It was just weird. I think Boise State did all the right things yesterday. They just acted like a nervous football program trying to get out some information that was very fragile, very delicate, and that part I get. Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to have you should have had a big press conference and just said, hey, come on down here at 5:00. We're going to announce the starting quarterback. Or if you want to do it on Zoom, that's fine. But like, why not just make it a regular press conference where you can record it and use it? And as soon as anything's tweeted out or said, you can tweet it out. And, you know, this is the exact reason it bugged me. This guy says, let's not get salty that Thamel beat y'all to the punch. He didn't beat us to the punch. We knew before Pete Thamel had it out there. We just were under this, rules of this embargo with this press conference that we couldn't say anything. So national media kind of parade in and get the story a lot. And somebody said Pete Thamel gets every Boise State story. Not to whatever, toot my own horn, but I will remind folks that I was the one that broke that Andy Avalos was hired. So he did have the firing, but when Andy Avalos got hired at Boise State, that was from me when I was still at the Idaho Press. But let's see, you knew, but you didn't get it out. Again, guys, there's rules you have to play with by this. We knew since noon we were going to have this call yesterday. I already had this story written. It was just an odd way it played out. And again, the whole point on here wasn't to bash on that. It just was very, I didn't understand the secretiveness behind it and the fact that there's no audio that we can use. And there were certain
prominent media members that didn't even were forgotten to be invited on the call. I mean, it was just the whole thing acted weird with the way it went down. But you mentioned all these reasons why, Mike Prater, the ticket sales, the national buzz. I mean, I've seen a lot of people on social media kind of already, like I said, almost giving up on the season here because of who, oh, well, it's not Malachi. Oh, well, that was fun while it lasted up, And I wrote back to one guy and I said, why? And I'm trying to find the exact reason here with the exact one, and the comment that I replied to. But like, I get it, Mike, in terms of the sex appeal, I guess, and that kind of factor. But like, I'm going to try, like, I don't think this announcement today, in my opinion, or last night, like, changes my outlook on the season. Like, if you thought they were a potential team that could go to the college football playoff, I don't like, was that only because because Malachi Nelson was going to be the starting quarterback? Like, you're still going to hand the ball to Genty. You still have all these receivers. Like, I'm not saying the quarterback doesn't matter, but all the people jumping ship and saying, oh, it was a great season. Oh, it was fun while it lasted because we're going with Maddux Madsen. That just seems like a little bit of an overreaction to me.
The best quarterback won the job for the best football team that this Boise State community wants to go to the CFP. So I think it's full steam ahead and all angles are on play. Yeah, I'm with you, BJ. And I know we're different in the media in terms of how we process and how we think. But yeah, there's nothing that stops me now from thinking Boise State can accomplish its goals. Dirk Cutter and Spencer Danielson have said that Maddux Madsen is the best quarterback for this football team. And this football team still has all the other 21 starters, the special teamers, all the great playmakers, all the explosive offense. According to these two smart people who are well smarter than me, Maddux Madsen's the guy that can fuel this explosive offense and make things great. So I'm fully on board. Now, with that said, the national media will jump off the bandwagon a little bit. There's no doubt about that, but I don't know if that matters at this point. Preseason polls don't matter. All the watch lists, all the preseason All-American stuff, that stuff doesn't really matter. It's fine. It's good, but it doesn't really matter here. They made the right decision. They picked the best quarterback, and if Madsen can go out and play great football, good football, dependable football on a run-first team fueled by Ashton Genty, I mean, he does. I'll throw out the game manager thing. He doesn't have to be anything better than slightly better than a game manager. If he goes 11 for 17 with 2 touchdowns and maybe a pick, and Boise State wins by 10 points, and Ashton Genty goes wild, isn't that kind of what you want with this football team this year?
We're over 300 now watching just on YouTube right now. We continue to grow. So again, hit that like button in the corner of the screen there. That helps us on the algorithms and things. And if you're not a subscriber of our channel, it's free. It's easy. Just hit the subscribe button there on YouTube. We do have, if you're watching on YouTube, we do have a poll, Mike Prater, up in the upper right-hand corner on YouTube. Are you okay with this decision? I don't know the exact wording I had, but are you okay with this decision, basically, of Maddux Madsen being named the starter? Yes and no. Are you cool with it, essentially? So get your vote in if you haven't voted in the poll already. I want to continue to talk about Maddux Madsen and the wording of this in terms of week 1 and the best chance to win at Georgia Southern, Mike Prater, in our final segment here. But first, another quick 2-minute timeout. We'll be right back on Bronco Nation News. Get your answer in the poll there and refill your coffee. We'll be right back on Bronco Nation News. The Treasure Valley freestanding Taco Bell stores are hiring. Check out TacoBellWorks.com to apply for a job. Great promotional opportunities, free food while you work, half your wages the next day after your shift. If you're looking for a new job, think Taco Bell. SON Management Group and the Nicolason family, and TacoBellWorks.com. Taco Bell serves up some of the best breakfast in the Valley. Try the breakfast sausage quesadilla, the breakfast California crunch wrap, the toasted breakfast sausage or bacon burrito, or the breakfast crunch wrap combo. Bronco Nation News thanks Taco Bell, the SON Management Group, and the Nicolason family for their support. Get more information on their impact on the community and apply for a job at TacoBellWorks.com. Check out the Blue and Orange Store for all your Boise State gear. The blueandorangestore.com has great deals on the latest hats, jerseys, sweatshirts, jackets, bumper stickers, car flags, and more. Get the latest Ashton Genty Heisman shirts, the NIL gear, coaches sideline apparel, and more. You have many options when it comes to buying your Boise State gear, but you won't find a better and bigger selection than the Blue and Orange Store. Thanks to Travis Hawks and company for their support. Return the favor and shop at the Blue and Orange Store and get ready for game day. Again, you can shop from anywhere online at theblueandorangestore.com or check them out the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall. The best way to start your day is at Jackson's. Step inside Jackson's food stores and discover convenience that goes beyond the pump. From fresh brewed coffee and delicious snacks to a wide selection of groceries and everyday essentials, we've got you covered. Jackson's supports Boise State through NIL deals for Ahmed Hassanin and Breezy Dubar. Don't forget, 25 cents from every hot dog purchase from a Treasure Valley Jackson store goes directly to the Horseshoe Collective. Snag that free banana when you buy a fountain drink, coffee, deli sandwich, or wrap. Find a location near you and sign up for Let's Go Rewards at Jacksons.com. Check out Snake River Pool and Spa, Idaho's #1 local dealer for over 45 years. Whether it's a hot spring spa like the Rains family has, or a pool table, sauna, patio furniture, and more, check out Snake River Pool and Spa. Locations in Twin Falls, Boise, Meridian, Nampa. Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game are proud partner of Bronco Athletics, supporting the Broncos pools and spas. Check out thespateam.com for pricing, brochures, financing options, specials, and more. Whether it's a hot spring spa, a pool table, or an air hockey table for the game room, Snake River Pool and Spa, Patio and Game has it all. The Rains family recently purchased our hot spring Limelight Flash Spa, and we couldn't be happier with the purchase. The installation process was easy, and the spa was up and running in no time. Check out their full inventory and turn your dream into a reality at thespateam.com. How about this, Mike Prater? My wife literally just bought our Lean Feast delivery order. Just came right here. Here it is. Literally just got here at the right when we're on the commercial break there. So Lean Feast delivers. Make sure you check out Lean Feast, and we're in the hat right now. LeanFeastMeridian.com. No excuse to not eat healthy here. They deliver anywhere in the Treasure Valley. We made our order about 8:30 this morning before the show, and in barely an hour, we've already got 10 fresh meals right there at our doorstep. So excited, and thanks to Dave and everybody over at Lean Feast. All right, I've never seen 300 plus viewers on a morning show for BNN. Yes, we are rolling. We appreciate all you guys. Record viewership here as well. We're over 1,200 total viewers already, 308 of you on YouTube. So appreciate you. And again, make sure you like the channel, subscribe to the channel as we continue to build it here. Speaking of which, Mike, on the chat, I have a question at the top of the chat for folks. The question is simply the decision they made to go to the quarterback. Are you okay with it? And do you like the decision with Boise State to go with Maddux Madsen as a starting quarterback? Is the exact words. 247 votes. We've got 71% yes, 29% no. So basically a 70-30 split. Fans are okay with it. Does that surprise you?
No, I think that's probably the level-headed majority there. That in Dirk we trust, in Danielson we trust, and we all kind of have to feel that way. I like to be a smart know-it-all, but I don't know anything about football compared to those two. And just watching Dirk Cutter work with the quarterbacks in fall camp, the decision that the Boise State football team made yesterday, I'm 100% okay with this. And I think most fans get that. Most fans aren't comparing Malachi Nelson's 3-year recruiting ranking to what happens on the football field now in relation to Cutter and Danielson. So I think most level-headed fans get it. The emotional fans, the hyperbole fans, the fans that want the big, sexy toy like Malachi Nelson can become at what point, and I still think that that's in play and will happen at Boise State. They're disappointed, and I get that, but they're not basing that on a football decision. They're basing that on emotions, and that's the beauty of sports. We all get fired away with some of our emotions sometimes.
Yeah, and like I said, two things to remember is one, let's give Dirk Cutter a little credit here. Let's trust these coaches. We were at a lot of these practices, but they're obviously at practice, but they're in meetings, they're in walkthroughs. Since January, they've been making this decision and putting in the research and stuff. And so just because Malachi Nelson had the better star rating and was what everybody, expected to probably start it, the fact that it's Maddux Madsen doesn't mean doomsday. It means the coaches feel going into the Georgia Southern game that he's the better choice for them to win this game. And they have noted numerous times that this is a week one type thing. And, no, are they already making some plan that against Oregon, they're going to start Malachi Nelson? No, the goal, I think when they say that, Mike, is they win and they keep on rolling and they want, Maddux Madsen to start and play every snap this season. If they're not already planning at some point to bring in Malachi Nelson, but I think we all believe whether it's the third quarter of the Oregon game, if it's, not going well, whether it's the Portland State game, whether it's whatever happens at some point, and again, whether it's poor play, whether it's injury, a lot of stuff can happen. But at some point, Malachi Nelson is going to get his chance, and it sounds like they like a lot of what he's doing, Mike Prater. He's just not quite ready yet. His development, learning the offense, learning the terminology. If they had another month till the first game, maybe he would have passed Maddux Madsen, but he's just not quite ready. So they feel in this game and to start the season, it's going to be Maddux Madsen. That doesn't mean that at some point that changes, and all of a sudden Malachi Nelson passes him. But what they're not going to do, it sounds like, is what we saw last year, where in the middle of games, it's just literally going to go back and forth. I mean, they may make a decision at some point. Maddux Madsen, you're not doing good enough. You're out. But they're not going to go back and forth in the middle of games and have some big controversy. If they switch to Malachi Nelson, I think they're switching to Malachi Nelson for the rest of the season.
Maybe that's what I'm just a little gun shy is that 2-quarterback system, and I get flashbacks thinking about that. And that's just the one thing I think we all want to avoid. Pick one, pick the others. Let's stick with it. And we all know that sometimes injuries or play or production comes in and plays a difference. But I boiled it down to kind of what you just said. Over the last 5-6 months, Malachi Nelson ran out of time. Maddux Madsen was consistently better. And this is definitely a week one decision, which I think that they orchestrated that message yesterday before they went on to this Zoom call. We really have to push this because this is the message we're pushing to Malachi. This is just a game one decision. And it was really weird. And one of the things I talked about in the column where Boise State was nervous halfway through, well, not halfway, early into this press conference, Danielson's already given about 5 minutes worth of conversation in his press conference, and a Boise State sports information director jumps in and said, reminder to the media, this is just a week one decision and things will be evaluated as we go along. I thought it was a very odd comment, not coming from a coach. That's the media, again, or that's the media relations guy pushing the narrative and telling everybody, demanding everybody that they know that Malachi Nelson still has a chance to be Boise State's starting quarterback. Whether that happens at Oregon, whether that happens later on, whether that happens in 2025, I have no idea. But Malachi Nelson will eventually become the starting quarterback at Boise State if he stays here. I truly believe he will, and I truly believe he will become that quarterback. But this is apparently a 2-week decision. We'll see what happens after that.
Someone's asking if there's practice today. There's no practice today. They're off today. It's the first day of school down at Boise State, and they will get back with what they're calling kind of a bonus week with practice tomorrow. I think there's access tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. The next 4 days, there's open practice and interviews. They'll have a closed practice on Saturday, and then they'll rev up game week on Monday, and that is the next time publicly Spencer Danielson is scheduled to talk is the Monday of game week. But we'll have, it sounds like maybe later this week, we'll get maybe the quarterbacks or get Dirk Cutter and be able to talk about this. And I do know that once game week rolls around, they're hoping the focus by that point is on Georgia Southern in this opener, and there are a lot of other storylines around this team, Mike Prater, but the quarterback, rightfully so, the quarterback battle is dominating the airwaves right now.
Having some fun. I mean, I don't want this to turn into a nasty story or a divided story, and it kind of already has, and that's unfortunate, and I guess that's why Boise State is acting a little bit nervous about this just because of the consequences, but I'm excited. I'm having fun. It was a great, thanks to Boise State for allowing us the access to Boise State's fall camp. That's one of the reasons why they promote Malachi Nelson and Maddux Madsen. Let the media in for full practices and let them see what they're doing. They've never done that before around here, so that's part of the open access, and we appreciate that. We like both. We've met both parents, we've met both players, we've met the coaches. I like all the above here, and I hope this doesn't become this deep, dark, negative story, but that's why you protect against quarterback controversies. They can become toxic inside the organization, outside the organization, and Boise State worked its butt off yesterday to make sure it doesn't become toxic.
Hey, shout out Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate. Number one ranked realtor in the Treasure Valley is Matt Bauscher. Check him out, BauscherRealEstate.com. Ridley's Family Markets, ShopRidleys.com. 13 locations across the state of Idaho. Download that Skip app. Get more information at ShopRidleys.com. Our friends at TCS Transportation Compliance Service, ready to sign you up, get you into the trucking industry. Again, all the permits and things you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. Check them out online, Transportation Compliance Service. And Mike Prater, I am about 48 hours away from getting ready to head down to Las Vegas. Going to spend week 0 here, final weekend before things get going down in Las Vegas for a couple of shows as part of their contest weekend. And I'm happy to announce that Brad Bedell, folks are going to get 2 days of Brad Bedell this week. He's doing his Wednesday show, but he is coming down to Circa and is going to actually enter one of the contests, I believe. But on Friday morning, live from Radio Row, we're going to have Vegas resident and native John Molchon and Brad Bedell joining me at the set. I tried to tell him, like, this is 9 a.m. There's 30 other radio stations around. We got to be careful of some of the stories that Brad Bedell is telling on this day. But I guess it's Vegas and anything goes, right, Mike Prater?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I don't know if he told you this or if you ran into Bedell over the weekend, but You invited me to a social function on Friday, and I said I couldn't go because I had other plans. And when I showed up at my other plans, who do I run into? Brad Bedell. And I thought he was going to be at your social function. So we were hanging out, and we actually talked about that Vegas road trip. He goes, you going to Vegas? I said, yeah, Friday night, UNLV, Allegiant Stadium. He goes, no, I'm talking about next week in Circa. He was so excited and so fired up. And he was kind of just jumping all over the place. And it was cool to see a big old fat guy like that be all excited. So I know he's ready to hit the Vegas Strip with you this week, BJ.
We all have to appease our wives and things and families. And he told me, he goes, I can either come to your party or I can go to Vegas. I said, all right, we'll take Vegas next week. So again, we're going down. We'll be doing live shows on Thursday and Friday from Circa this week as part of their contest weekend. If you want to sign up for the contest, we can still get you registered using our proxy, Tom Carroll. You can sign up in Vegas, play from anywhere in the world. We can sign you up while we're down there. So if you're interested, let me know. And yes, as Mike Prater said, we do have a package that we put together for the football game down there as well. So reach out to us if you want more information on that. I think it's $500. It includes, round trip airfare, 2 nights hotel, transportation to and from the game, like a pregame party with food and drinks and stuff. It's going to be, if you're going down to the football game in October, it's going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. But Friday morning, on Radio Row, John Molchon, who lives in Vegas, is going to come over. We'll have John, we'll have Brad and myself, and we're going to have a lot of fun. I believe Thursday, Johnny is going to join me. He'll be here in Boise while I'm there, but a lot. It's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. But all right, Mike, final quick thought from you, because we won't get you till next week. If the whole depth chart has been decided already, which we probably believe it has, it's just not public. What else, if you had that sneak peek of the depth chart, which I'm sure Pete Thamel already has, let me know. Where else would you be looking right away? What else intrigues you about what we saw in camp in terms of the position battles?
Well, I mean, I'll be curious to how they list the wide receivers, but that doesn't really matter. I think the offense is completely set. Hall Schmidt has won the right tackle spot. Jake Steele is going to be his backup. So I think the offensive, we're going to see some mixing and matching of the interior part of Boise State's offensive line. So you might not get the starters for week one, that the traditional starters that we've been throwing out there. We'll just kind of leave it at that. But they've been playing with a lot of different pieces of the interior part of the offensive line. But I think the offense is really, really set. The defense, as far as I'm concerned, is in pretty good shape. The outside edge opposite of Hassanin, there might be some things to look at there over these next couple of weeks. How they use the cornerbacks, how they use the safeties. I'm not so much worried about the depth chart when it comes to the secondary, but how they rotate, because all these players are going to play in a football game. So the safeties and the cornerbacks, which was last year, we know that the secondary was a disaster. How they rotate in and out of games, that's what I need to see, but I won't see that. We won't see that until August 31st. It won't be in a depth chart. The one thing I thought that Spencer might bite on last night when we asked him about the other starters was the special teams, and he mentioned the special teams, but I want to see if Caples really is confirmed as the number one punt returner and kickoff returner. He told us last week that he is the starter at both. We'll see how that plays out. I know there was a big storyline about Ashton Genty, but I just don't see that developing. But that doesn't mean he can't get a couple of opportunities during the course of the season. I think this football team is set. I think they know it. I can't wait to go to practice tomorrow and see how it plays out, BJ.
Oh, so many great comments today, but I'm going to finish up on this one. Shout out Rick Ordonez. He's watching Mike Prater because there's no other options, is what he says. We don't want to know what you two non-BSU fans think of the team. There's no other options. I mean, the reason some of us watch. Hey, you know what? You're still watching, Rick, so we'll take the view. And neither one of us are Boise State fans. That's what called the media is, in terms of trying to give you both perspectives on this. And again, sometimes you don't like that side of it, but that's why we love Mike Prater, because he's not afraid to give it to you like it is. 3-6 today, Mike. I know a lot's coming on Idaho Sports Talk about this decision.
Yeah, including you, BJ. I think we're going to throw you on at 5 o'clock this afternoon. Still juggling some stuff. Yogi Roth, the former Pac-12 reporter, the National College Football reporter, wrote a book a couple years ago called The 5-Star QB. If you haven't read it, at least check it out sometime today and maybe read a paragraph or look at an excerpt. He's going to come on our show. He's at East Lansing, Michigan today doing some stuff with Michigan State, but he's going to come on and talk about how successful, or the lack of success, that 5-star quarterbacks have gotten when it comes to the transition from high school to football, and it certainly applies to Malachi Nelson. He's also going to give us a look at the national perspective of how they took the news yesterday and what this means to Boise State. And we got this one for you. We're going to kick off the show this afternoon, BJ. I don't know if you go to the fair. I don't. You probably don't. The Fair Concert Series kicks off tonight with Kansas. Not your basketball team, not your football team. There's an actual band called Kansas, and Ronnie Platt, the lead singer of Kansas, is going to join us today on Idaho Sports Talk as well.
How about that? There you go. That sounds like a great show. 3 to 6. Make sure you're listening today. Another question a lot of people had, Mike, was in terms of what they want to see on that depth chart is who's QB3. We think maybe Max Cutforth might be the guy, the local kid, or who who will, I know they may not even list 3. Sometimes they only list 2, so we'll have to find that out. But a lot to get to. Probably won't get that official depth chart till Monday when they have the game week press conference and send out the game notes. But appreciate all you guys. Again, record viewership, well over 1,300 viewers already on this show. 300 of you plus still watching on YouTube. We thank you so much. Make sure you hit subscribe on YouTube at the bottom of the screen. Make sure you like the video as well. And if you can, fork over the $50, BroncoNationNews.com. Hit that register button. Use the promo code BNN50 deal. You get your full year, $20 off, just $50. And again, we would love to have it. And you can go on there and read Mike Prater's column right now about the Maddux Madsen decision as the starting quarterback. And as you just heard, maybe another column coming on Maddux and maybe why he deserves a little more credit in terms of going into the season and winning the job as well. So 3 to 6, make sure you're listening today. And then we'll have Jay Tuss join me at 9 a.m. tomorrow. Go subscribe on our social media channels. Give them a subscribe on the KTIK channel as well. They have their daily video segment there on YouTube. So make sure you find the KTIK channel and subscribe to them as well. And then Jay will join me tomorrow. So go subscribe. Have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you and be listening to you at 3 o'clock. Looking forward to joining those guys during the show as well. And again, Maddux Madsen, Boise State starting quarterback. But as Mike Prater says to finish up the column, this story is not yet over. And we'll be here at Bronco Nation News to cover it the rest of the way. So have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you later. Bronco Nation News live from the Western Collective Studios. Go try some of their Horseshoe Golden Ale. Donate some money to the collective. BroncoNationNews.com.